want you to square this circle for me because, okay, they're lowering the price. Won't that just boost demand and they're already struggling with making enough supply?
Right. It's a good question. The issue for Lilly, though, which maybe we've talked about on the show before, is the complexity of making these auto-injector pens kind of has bottlenecked supply. So that's been the issue for them. It's such a complex process that it slowed it down a bit when demand, as we know, has been soaring. For Novo Nordisk, the supply issue has actually been making the active ingredient that goes into this pen.
Semaglutide.
Semaglutide, yes, exactly. You're a pro. So the problem's a little bit different. But for Lilly, this actually is expected to potentially be a positive to sales because they can sell more of the drug.
So what does this mean for the overall supply challenge? Because another thing we've spoke about before is in the race to get ahead on supply, Lilly has sort of been winning.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think this is another example. We saw Novo's shares fall this morning because they don't really have this same lever that they can pull when it comes to supply. I mean, doing something like this and offering vials isn't something that would help Novo when they just can't make enough of the actual drug that goes into those vials. So for them, they're still ramping up supply, building out more production capacity, as is Lilly, but they don't really have these same levers that they can pull on right now.
And let's talk about the competitive landscape, too, when it comes to pricing. Obviously, that has been one of the hottest button issues out there. Lawmakers, et cetera, everyone getting involved. You have Lilly lowering prices right now. What does that mean for Novo Nordisk?
Yeah, I mean, it puts more pressure on Novo. Lilly's drug launched actually cheaper than Wegovy to begin with. So Zepbound is about $1,000 a month. Wegovy's a little bit more. So you already had that dynamic at play, and now Lilly is offering this even cheaper version, which puts more pressure on Novo. It also puts more pressure on these copycat weight loss drugs that we've talked about that people are seeking out these cheaper knockoff versions of the drugs, and now Lilly has this cheaper version that they're offering. So there's a little bit more competition happening there now, too.
Well, more on that. What does that mean for overall price improvements? We spoke to kind of a competitor yesterday to GLP drugs. We spoke to the CEO of Curax, and this whole idea of pricing is pretty paramount to someone like that.
Yeah.
What happens to the other drugs?
I mean, that's a good question. For Zepbound, it's actually not totally clear what's happening. We need to look into the data a bit more about how this affects average Zepbound price, because Lilly also did raise the price of a savings coupon for Zepbound either this morning or last night. They raised it by $100. So that's for people that have insurance, commercial insurance that doesn't cover Zepbound. It used to be $550, now it's $650. So there is a little bit of kind of like a dynamic happening where Lilly's lowering the price, raising the price of the coupon. And so how that affects sort of overall prices is kind of unclear still.